Hey guys, and welcome back. It's that time of the year again. It's keep or sell. Eddie Howe came out after the Leicester City game. Newcastle are now qualified in the Champions League for the first time since 2003. Eddie Howe came out and he said that this summer window coming up will be his hardest transfer window so far at Newcastle. Before we can buy, we have to sell. So who out of this current squad does not deserve to be here anymore? Who should be going in the summer? That's what I'm here to try and tell you guys today. I'm here to give my personal opinions, and that's the first thing I want to mention in this video. It is opinionated, so if you disagree with something I say, don't shoot the messenger. Just let me know down in the comment section. We can fight. It's fine to disagree, but just don't be mean about it. And secondly, if you like what you watch, make sure to get down there, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. I'm going to tell you all my personal opinions now, and afterwards I'm going to show you my scenes in the ballroom yesterday when I actually put them all on a piece of paper so you can actually see what the squad will look like next season. First off, we have Nick Pope. In his first full season at Newcastle, he has kept 14 clean sheets in 37 matches and conceded 31 goals. He's actually played more matches than the amount of goals he's conceded. That's probably the first ever for a Newcastle United goalkeeper. Class first season from him, definitely would keep. Martin Dubravka, I would sell. This was somebody at the start of last season went on loan to Manchester United because he wanted more game time. He actually got less game time at Manchester United. He then came back and he's just been sitting on the bench more or less the entire time. So definitely, despite the fact that he's been a great servant at the club, I would sell. Loris Karius joined Newcastle United as an emergency goalkeeper during this season. He's played once for this football club in the Carabao Cup final, the biggest match Newcastle played in 23 years. The only game he's played in. Had a pretty good match, to be fair, but his contract is up in the summer and I do not think Newcastle will renew it. I think he will be gone. Carl Darlow, I also expect to be sought in the summer transfer window. He left in January on loan to go to Hull City. He's played 12 times for them and the Hull City fans absolutely adore this guy. And now that he's getting more consistent game time, I fully expect him to leave. Had a great time for us under the championship season. Somebody that was brought in, helped us out for a good few seasons, but he's one of those signs where he's been around way too long for me and he has to go now. Mark Gillespie is a Newcastle fan who has never ever played for Newcastle United in the Premier League, and I'll explain my reason later, but I actually think he'll stay. I don't think we'll sell him at all, and I think he will be a part of a Champions League squad going into next season. Mark Gillespie, what a life he is living. Kieran Trippier is Newcastle United's first signing since the takeover. I took one of the biggest gambles you ever see in a career. Left Atletico Madrid, a team that was in the Champions League, joined a club that was 19th in the Premier League because he knew they could get into the Champions League. 18 months later, he's done it. Easily the most consistent player at this club and such an important signing. He was the one that started it all. Keep every single day of the week. Emil Kraft unfortunately picked up quite a severe knee injury at Tranmere Rovers in the second round of the Carabao Cup, and because of that he missed the entire season. He's been watching us climb up the table, like sitting on the sidelines. Horrible for any football player to do. I would keep though. He was class last season. For these fickle and reactionary fans out there, remember what he did the year prior. I thought he was really good when Eddie Howe first came in. I would keep. He deserves that chance. Harrison Ashby was one of Newcastle's two signs that came in during the January transfer window. The 21-year-old right back came in from West Ham. This is somebody that long term you want to replace Kieran Trippier. But for now though, he has to be loaned out somewhere. He needs to get consistent game time, get some experience under his belt, and then come back and be a better player. Javier Manquillo, I think, will stay at Newcastle United this summer because of the fact that this guy can play left back and right back. He's a versatile player who can play both positions. He's somebody there, if you pick up a serious injury, you can slot him into the squad. That's the kind of player he needs to be. You got to remember as well, Newcastle, we can't just sell half the squad in one transfer window. It has to naturally be done over time, not to destroy the team cohesion in the dressing room. I think because of the fact he can play multiple positions, I think Javier Manquillo will be safe for now. Sven Botman, I would keep. One of the best performing centre-backs in the Premier League at such a young age as well. This is somebody that Newcastle battled with AC Milan over the summer transfer window. Dan Ashworth versus Paolo Maldini. He picked Newcastle and we are now in the Champions League. Obviously he's going to stay. This is somebody we're going to have for the foreseeable future. What a player this guy is. Alongside him we have Fabian Shaw. Once again, this is a player I would keep. This is somebody we had before the takeover, and this is easily the best season he's ever played at Newcastle. However, due to his age and the fact he picks up niggling injuries, long term this is a player you will have to look into eventually replace him. But for now though, his defending's top class, his passing range is exceptional. 100% would keep. Brilliant player. Next up, we have the club captain, Jamal Lascelles, a player that doesn't play much for Newcastle United anymore, but somebody I think will stay at the club. I remember the Manchester City game this season, played against the likes of Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva, and I thought he stood the test quite well. Can still play. Somebody that you wouldn't want to play on a consistent basis, to be brutally honest, but he's somebody that, I mean, he's still the captain. He'd be a great voice in the dressing room. You've seen him in the touchline as well. He's somebody that's a bit cheeky, he likes getting on the players' heads, and I think it's a good thing for Newcastle. I definitely would still keep him. He's not going to get much game time, but I think he's somebody there that, if you need him, he'll do a job. Paul Dummett is somebody who joined Newcastle United at the age of 9, all the way back in the year 2000. He's actually been at Newcastle United longer than I've been alive. What an accomplishment that is from him. 23 years at this football club. This is the one that's going to shock people. I think he'll stay. The reason why I think he stays is because of the homegrown rule under UEFA's laws. So because of the fact that Newcastle's youth team hasn't got much talent in it, you need registered players that have played throughout the youth team in their careers. Paul Dummett is one of Newcastle's only players who has done that. So under the UEFA laws, you need him to stay in the 25-man squad. So yes, I think he'll stay for his 24th season at Newcastle. Kieran Clark's contract expires for Newcastle in the summer. No, I don't think he'll stay. To be fair, he came in back in the Championship season, did a job for a couple of seasons, but once again, just like a few players on this list, he's one that's just past his sell by date. Nowhere near good enough anymore, and I don't think he'll have a future at this club. He's from Blythe. It's Dan Burn. Yes, I would keep him. Somebody that I think is a massive punching bag for fans across the UK. Everyone seems to hate this guy. Everyone seems to want to slag him off. I mean, he's been playing all season long. We've finished in the top 4. You can't say he's a bad player because he's played the entire time. We're in the Champions League, so he's definitely doing something correct. Yes, I keep him. I think he does a good job, and he's somebody that long term I think can still do a job for Newcastle. Matt Targett is an interesting one. This is a player that's been second choice to Dan Burn all season long. Somebody was signed on a permanent basis from Aston Villa in the summer. Hasn't quite worked out this season, but I remember his loan spell last season. He's a good player. Somebody that you're still going to want to keep, and hopefully you'll get a bit more game time next season to prove his worth. Jamal Lewis next. I forgot this guy is still here, to be honest. How the hell is he still at Newcastle? One of the worst signs we've made in recent years. I remember his potential when we signed him all the way back now in 2019. This is somebody that Liverpool had wanted. This is somebody who had a great season at Norwich. We signed him. I was buzzing at the time. Hasn't worked out at all. He barely played, barely did anything. £12 million, just a massive waste of money, and I think he'll be sought in the summer window. Bruno, keep. I think this is Newcastle's best player technically. Such a good, in my opinion, world-class player. I think he's good enough to play for more or less every team in world football. That's how good this guy is. We are so lucky to have him. Somebody that is going to be here for a long time. He loves his football club. What a sign this is. Bruno Guimaraes, he had to stay. Champions League football, how will he do in it? Speaking of the Brazilians, we have Joe Linton next, the £40 million flop that came from Hoffenheim, the striker that wasn't a striker, went into midfield, and for the first time in his career, he's got double figures in the Premier League. What a transformation this guy's had. Everyone, including Newcastle fans, a couple of years ago said this guy is crap, this guy can't play, and now he's proven everybody wrong, and he's class. He is such a good player. He's got into the Premier League most consistent team of the season. For me, Newcastle's best player this season. I think, once again, he should be player of the year. But Kieran Trippier got the players player of the season. I think he's unbelievable. Done a class job. Joe Linton, just like Bruno, is here to stay. We have Joe Willock Dino. Joe Willock, the player who left school to join Arsenal at around the age of 14. He is built to be a football player. It's all he ever knows, and he does an incredibly good job. What a choice he's made. Somebody that Newcastle, once again, are very lucky to have. This technical ability he has is class. Even when he first joined Newcastle, he was scoring every single match under Steve Bruce. And although I didn't think he was the best midfielder, he's even better now when he's not scoring as much. I just can't believe how good he is. This is somebody that has no limits. The sky has no limits. He's somebody that will become better. And Arsenal, I think, have shot themselves selling him for 25 million. I know at the time he wasn't playing for them, but still, though, the show has loaned him out once again, I believe. Sean Longstaff, a player who the majority of fans, including myself at the start of the season, would have said sell. For me, Newcastle's most improved player at the season. He has shushed everyone and put us all in our place for being idiotic fans. He's been class. He has been class. To be fair, he has came out in the press conference and said that under the previous regime he wasn't happy with things. He wasn't being serious in training sessions. He was quite depressed. So to see him do so well now is incredible. This is a guy that's played all season long and he's a part of a Champions League squad. I'm so happy for him. He deserves it. He's been class all season round. 100% would keep. He deserves it. Elliot Anderson, the 20-year-old that was on loan at Bristol Rovers last season, has now came into Eddie Howe's squad, and in the short stint he's had in the team, looks so composed, does not look out of place, which is the best possible thing you can say about a player of his age. Looks a part of the team. He looks so experienced considering he's not actually experienced at all, so it's incredible to see. Deserves to be a part of the squad, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do next season as he gradually becomes a better player. The next three players will not be at Newcastle United next season. I thought I'd put more together now so we can quickly get through them. Isaac Hayden being number one, so he spent the season on loan at Norwich City. Unfortunately, throughout this season, he's picked up a couple of injuries and he's struggled to get back into the team because of that. It's sad to see because I do like Isaac Hayden. Somebody had a great time at the club, but unfortunately, that lockdown injury he picked up against Brighton just hasn't been the same since, and he's one that won't be here next year. Matty Longstaff's contract expires in the summer. This is somebody who at Colchester this season picked up quite a serious injury in his knee and he's just been knackered the entire season. It's in Newcastle's best interest not to renew his contract, but I mean, why would we? We're not playing with him at all. Jeff Hendrick being the final one. Pub fact for you, the last player who scored for Newcastle before the takeover was Jeff Hendrick. What a story that is to tell you, mates. I was there, 2-1 loss to Wolves. Ever since that moment, it's just been up from Newcastle. All three of these players, I wish them all the best, but I don't see any of them staying. And finally, moving into the attack now, we'll begin off on the right-hand side. First up, we've got Miggy, a player last season I heavily criticised for having no end product. Scored once in 36 matches, which I criticised to the moon. This season, he's completely transformed, especially in the first half of the campaign. Got player of the month in November, scored 12 goals, which is his best return ever in the Premier League. Despite him coming back from his injury, not scoring as many, I still think he adds a lot to the team. Somebody I'll definitely keep, and I'm glad he's proved me wrong because he's got that talent, he's got that ability, he just needs that confidence now, which he has, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for him. Jacob Murphy, once again, a bit like Longstaff, another player who was never ever put anywhere near Champions League football. He's been class, especially the second half of the season. I don't know where he's came from, but he's just got that fire to him. He has the momentum, he's playing so well, and he's been class. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he's been unbelievable. He deserves to be here. I'm so happy for him once again, a player that is a Newcastle fan through and through, and he's living his dream, playing what is going to be Champions League football next season. And last but not least, Matt Ritchie. Now, this is actually quite a hard one to go through because, well, this being a player that doesn't play at all for the club, but the likes of Eddie Howe, his teammates, express how important he is behind the scenes, somebody that is a voice, somebody that helps others out. So it's a tricky one. For me, I went with no because I think it is the right time to sell him. He's somebody that's not getting any game time at all. He's getting older, and I mean, if you want to be around the dressing room, just hire him as a coach or somebody you can give him an hour. He doesn't have to be an active player. So for me, I would sell, but once again, just like several players on this list, he's done an unbelievable job in his time at the club. As for the left-hand side now, we'll begin off with Aaron St. Maximin. He scored once this season, his worst return in front of goal. However, he has picked up an injury during this season, which has made it a bit of a topsy-turvy one for him. A tricky one because I think fans probably do want to sell him due to the fact that they believe you can get a good amount of money for him. But my overall mindset going into this is, from the money we can sell St. Maximin for, can we buy anyone that is better or of the same value for the price we're selling for? For me, no. On his day, he is as good as any player on the squad. Technical ability is up there with the best. I would keep him. I think we'll give him one more year. We'll see what he can do. If things don't go well for him, then I would look at selling. But for now, though, I would keep a hold of him still. Secondly, we have Anthony Gordon. We signed for £40 million from Everton in the January transfer window. He hasn't got any goal contributions so far. Hasn't played as much game time as it may look on social media. For me, he needs more time to settle in. You got to remember as well, he's still a 21-year-old. I'll keep both of these players. Give him time, he'll come good. If not, I think even if Anthony Gordon isn't a great player, you can look at selling for half the price in a couple of years anyway. So it's not like we lost loads of money on him. But unfortunately, just hasn't kicked in as much as I probably wanted to so far. And finally, we have Ryan Fraser, somebody who Eddie Howe has banished from the squad. He's sent him to under-21s. He has no future whatsoever at this club. Eddie Howe said in the press conference that I only want players who are committed to playing in Newcastle United. That is brutal, Ryan Fraser. So I don't know what's happened behind the scenes, but he has no future at this football club. And finally, we're getting to the two remaining strikers. The first one being Callum Wilson, a player that was deemed injury-prone and not good enough at the start of the season, believe it or not. He scored 18 goals this campaign, the best return in his career. What a statement this guy has made. 18 goals, one of the best performing strikers in the Premier League. He's done it. Despite the fact that what everyone said, he's still got it. 100% keep. And as for the second striker, the one that's combined so well with him, Alexander Isak, signed for over £60 million across from La Liga. He has also got double figures this season, meaning that Almiron, Joelinton, Wilson and Isak have all got double figures. What a return we've had going forward. So many goals, and it's brilliant to see both of these strikers being class. However, next season, with being in the Champions League, we need more firepower up top in case one of them gets injured, so it doesn't put so much pressure on the other one. But both have been fantastic, and that finishes up our list. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the video. As you can see in the background now, I'm actually inside the boardroom yesterday. I'm getting all the ticks and crosses on with a suit. I'm showing you guys firsthand how I would actually look at a piece of paper of all the players I would personally keep and sell. I just wanted to explain why I would keep some of the players in particular, because especially with the homegrown rule, it can be a bit complicated towards people. So as for the goalkeeper situation first, as I said, I would sell Martin de Bruyne. I think those two are going to leave anyway. I wouldn't renew Karius' contract. I would keep Mark Gillespie as a number 3. Now, as for the number 2 situation, what I would personally do is I would actually sign Fraser Forster from Tottenham, because 1, his contract expires in the summer, so you can sign him on a 3, and 2, he would be classed as a homegrown player, which Newcastle would need 4 for UEFA's laws. So I would have him, Elliot Anderson, Sean Longstaff and Paul Dummett as the 4 players. So that is what I would personally do anyway in terms of the goalkeepers. As for our players, I mean, obvious ones like Hayden, Longstaff, Hendrick, Clark, these players are going to leave anyway. There's not too many controversial ones in there. Matt Ritchie, again, I don't really see him staying, to be honest. I haven't got too much to explain. I think the majority of you guys probably would agree with the players I've sought. The likes of St. Maximin, though, I think we're staying our season. You've got to remember, as I said previously, we can't sell everyone in one transfer window. We had to do it one step at a time. I agree with the list. I don't think I would change the list. I don't think many people would disagree. Maybe an odd 1 or 2 in there, but I don't think it's controversial at all. I think it's pretty fair to say. So yeah, just let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It's a bit long. Sorry it took so long, but I had so many different players to go through. I wanted to do this video a bit differently, how I did it yesterday in the boardroom. I wanted to be fair on the players. I wanted to give them all a chance. I just wanted to have an honest opinion, non-biased, that I haven't got an agenda against any of these players whatsoever. I just wanted to come out with a fair opinion, give you my personal thoughts of what I would do if I was Eddie Howe or Amanda Staveley. Now, an obvious thing I need to say is that I'm not Eddie Howe or Amanda Staveley. I haven't got the football intelligence. I haven't got the university degrees. I haven't got the business sense and stuff. I'm just a fan at the end of the day with an opinion. That's what I personally think anyway. So hopefully you guys agree with it. If you don't agree, it's fine to disagree. Just, again, don't shoot the messenger. But I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. We have got the overnight stay against Chelsea the weekend. And then the season's over and done with, and we can party all summer long.